Football may have just gotten some really good news and a really big help that its fans were not expecting. How are you guys doing, Coach Prime fans? I appreciate you guys for tuning in and being part of the channel. Listen, it's been a minute since we asked for this from the start, but if you enjoy this content, do me the simple favor of just clicking that subscribe button. Try not to blow you guys up with that every single video, but we do have some really exciting stuff as we start to get closer to spring football. Got a Shedeur Sanders video that I think you guys will like a lot, so make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. We're almost to our 1 year. Beginning of March is when we started this channel, and it'd be really cool to get up close to that 30,000 number. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, and let's ride. Okay, Bishop Thomas back on Colorado's spring football roster. I want to tell you, first of all, I love the way that Colorado splits it up and actually does a spring football roster, a specific roster just for the spring. I think it's big news that he's back on that roster. We'll talk about it in just a moment. Coach Prime hasn't addressed this yet, but there's a lot of speculation as to what this could mean. As a quick refresher, Bishop had been suspended for some unknown reasons. Coach Prime had talked about it in the docuseries that aired at the beginning of January, and we talked about it then. Thomas wasn't on the roster then. Coach Prime had said he'd be away from unknown reasons and unspecified reasons. Obviously, Coach Prime knew why. And folks were pretty upset about this, not because they didn't trust Coach Prime or they didn't think that Bishop probably needed to work out whatever needed to be worked out at that time, but they were upset about it because he was absolutely a fan favorite. He was somebody that people really enjoyed seeing on social media, on the well-off videos. They loved the way that he committed to Coach Prime. They loved his energy, his excitement. And so people were pretty taken aback by this. They were not happy with it going down. But he is back on the roster now, and it's got people wondering, is he back? Is he good to go? Is he ready? Spring ball is just a couple of weeks away, and if they could have him back for the spring, it would be massive for the Buffs. I would expect him to be back for the fall. I would expect him to be back once the games get played. You're not typically going to be suspended for like 10 months or so, but being back for spring is going to set you up so much better than just coming back in the fall. Folks are speculating that he should and will be back for the spring. And I've spoken with a couple of folks, and though I've not gotten direct confirmation, there's a lot of optimism for him to be back when the Buffs kick off spring football in just a couple of weeks. So let me repeat that. I'm not telling you 100% that he is back with the team until I either see it in a video or I hear it from Coach Prime directly or someone very reputable at Colorado. But number one, I think it's a really good sign that he's back on that spring roster. And number two, folks that I'm chatting with feel very optimistic about it. So from there on, the rest of the video, let's take the assumptive that he is back and what that would mean for Colorado. Well, first of all, that's a huge need there on the defensive line. You guys know that last year, Colorado really struggled. I won't even sugarcoat it. More than struggled to stop people running the ball, and they couldn't run the ball themselves. There's been a huge emphasis on the trenches, and I don't have to be Mr. Cliche to tell you that games are won in the trenches. You guys have heard that. You know that. Coach Prime has even addressed that, but Bishop being back in there would be huge for the Buffs on the defensive line. At the Super Bowl, when he was interviewed, Coach Prime even admitted this. He said, listen, we built from the outside in, and now we're building from the inside out. Listen to that clip quickly.
We're going to do a few more things after the spring, I'm pretty sure. But I love where we are. If you can see these young men working out, if you can see the camaraderie, if you can see them challenging one another and holding each other accountable, it's unbelievable. It's a new day. I love what we're doing, and we started building from the outside in. Now we're building from the inside out. So the game plan and the projection and everything is right on target.
I love Coach Prime's honesty, his realism here. Now, he doesn't throw anybody under the bus. He doesn't crush any kids or say this guy or that guy had a problem. He just tells you, hey, we build it from the outside in. Now we're building from the inside out. We're going from the trenches out now because we feel good about where we're at the skill positions. And Colorado was really good at the skill positions last year. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive back, but they struggled in the trenches, and they need to get better there. Thomas transferred in from FSU as a reminder. And again, we loved the way that he did that, the energy that he brought, and the way that he seemed to instantly kind of latch on to his teammates. He played 9 games for Colorado last season. He had 117 snaps, 6 tackles, 2 tackles for losses, and he also had a fumble recovery. Got a little bit of experience at FSU, played in 2 games there. They had a really stacked defensive line, but he did get in as a freshman a little bit. His size is something the Buffs absolutely would love to have and need to have out there. He's 6'2", 305 pounds. He's a huge kid, and he moves incredibly well for that size. His experience is massive, and though he has not played a ton, 117 snaps at Colorado and then a limited play as a true freshman for Florida State, he is entering his 3rd season in a college program. His 3rd offseason working out and getting bigger and refining his skills and really honing in on that strength and athleticism. He's a guy who you can absolutely lean on for the future. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. It's not just 2024 for him. It's the future as well. It's what can he bring for Colorado in 2024, 25, 26 if he sticks around there. You'd hope that he blows up and absolutely goes nuts and ends up leaving maybe after the 2025 season to go to the NFL. But he's a guy that you need for depth. He's a guy that could certainly start for the Buffs. He's a guy that can be a mainstay, a force on that defensive line. He has certainly come into his own, and his size and athleticism are something that the Buffs desperately need. When you look at the best teams in college football right now, when you look at the teams who are competing for it all, what do they have? They have elite trenches. To be fair, they have elite play everywhere. It's not just the trenches, but they have elite play all over the field, and it starts on the inside. They're also able to rotate and keep their guys fresh. It is hard. I've never done it, but it is hard as a 6'2", 305-plus pound lineman to go out there and play in 60 to 80 snaps a game. I can't imagine that many people can do that with the weight that they have to carry around, the strength that they have to carry around when they are just bull rushing and trying to get after that quarterback or running back that's back there in the backfield. And so you've got to have a lot of depth. You've got to have really good depth along the front, along that defensive line. This is what Georgia did so well. This is what Michigan did so well. You think about other good defensive lines like Florida State and others that had good defensive lines. They were able to rotate. They were able to keep guys fresh. And so you're not only not wearing down during the game, you're not wearing down over a long season. Colorado's offense and defensive lines not only weren't very good last year, to put it pretty bluntly, they also wore down. And at the end of games, they weren't very good. At the end of the season, they weren't very good because they were tired. They were exhausted. And so Thomas not only helps you raise the ceiling, he is a good player who can certainly contribute quite a lot and a fan favorite, a good locker room guy. He also helps you with that depth issue. He helps you get those snaps down for everyone else because he's playing a ton for you. Bishop Thomas is one that we are going to continue to monitor, continue to track how his progression comes along if he is in fact back for the spring, but don't be surprised to see him out there. Again, the entire thing with a caveat. We haven't heard this from Coach Prime. We haven't gotten direct confirmation, but if you listen to those that cover Colorado, if you read the message boards, if you are on social media and following these kids and following this program, it seems like he is back. And that's a huge, huge benefit for Colorado and Coach Prime. We're going to continue to track this. As soon as we have more of an update, we will be back with you. Again, I asked you at the beginning, but if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you're part of the prime time for college football. Again, big time Shedeur Sanders video coming out soon, talking about his place within the brand new Big 12. I don't want you guys to miss that. We're almost to our 1-year anniversary. Thank you guys that have ridden with us for this long, and thank you as always for watching the prime time for college football.